What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading world. Guys, we got time sensitive information, so let's jump right into it. We got a Apex sale, 90% off Apex sale. It just came out. Guys, if you've been waiting for this, I know there's been a few of you guys who have been asking, when does this 90% sale come out? When can I get the Apex accounts for $16? Well, now's the time. You can get a 90% off a 50K evaluation for 16. So the total for the first month is $16, and then reoccurring after that. If you don't pass it, it's $33. That's for every single 50K evaluation you get. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. Keep in mind you need to pay $140 to activate it when you do pass it, and keep in mind as well that most people do end up buying 20 of these and then owing $33 a month across 20 accounts. So just don't end up doing that. Be smart, guys. But yeah, use code Dodgy. Right now I don't have a code. I should probably get one. I think there's benefits to that, but I'm not sure. But yeah, guys, Twitter just keeps getting funnier and funnier. Dodgy is having a mental breakdown. He says, I feel like I beat a video game too fast. I don't know what to do with my life. And he's like, I'm on the golf course. My life is so boring. I'm on the driving range. I hit this inverse for value gap. What do I do? It's only 2 o'clock. Bro, maybe just go enjoy yourself. I don't know, man. If I had, $1 million, I'd do whatever I wanted. I'd just go, I'd go on a road trip or something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just never get it. But for me, I feel like I'll just never run out of things to do. Because you just, you have money, right? I don't know. And then this is the funniest part. Who wants to be my girlfriend? He has all the money in the world, but needs a girl. Someone does need to get Dodgy a girl. Or, Dodgy needs to get himself a girl. One or the other. But yeah, let's jump right into it, guys. We got a lot of interesting stuff to cover today. Let's see if I can switch it over to the right screen on the first try. Nope. Nope. My gosh, which screen is it? There we go. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot of interesting trades to cover today. First thing I want to talk about is zoom out, guys, right? Going into the market today, one thing caught my eye, and it was this breaker right here. Look at how nice this is, right? When you have a violent move lower that sweeps liquidity. When you have a violent move lower that sweeps liquidity, your eyes should go to that breaker, because this breaker is going to be very sensitive. These are the most sensitive kinds of breakers when we have a series of up-close candles. So once again, a breaker is a series of up-close candles before a violent move that takes liquidity, right? And actually, once again, you have to close higher. So once we get this candle body close above this, that validates this as a breaker. So it's the highest up close candle that's the most sensitive, and then the series of up close candles. So going into the market today, I was like, wow, that's a nice breaker. And you can see that if I measure this out, the market actually respected this very, very well here. You can see breaker respected, and as well, this was a 1 hour for value gap, right? You can see how all these different PD arrays are all kind of respected interchangeably, right? 1 hour for value gap, also respected. 1 hour BPR, also respected. You see the bodies, how the bodies respect this BPR. You see the 4 hour gap, also respected, right? You see how the market just kind of fits together like a puzzle in all these different ways. This is how you want to do your analysis, right? So anyway, the key level that I liked going into the morning was this 1 hour gap, and you can kind of already see it on the chart. It's very, very obvious. Just you probably tell me what this is, right? What is this? A buy model, right? Do you guys see how we come down, sweep liquidity, break structure, return to the fair value gap, and discount, right? So once again, liquidity sweep. Let's actually look at this on the 3 minute. real quick. Liquidity sweep. Break of this high here with this placement, and we come back down. What is this? From low to high. This is the fair value gap. That's right in discount, right? Look at how the market perfectly respects this fair value gap, and then we go run all of these low resistance highs here. Look at how perfect the market is, guys. Straight from this 2022 fair value gap, which is a fair value gap in discount after a liquidity sweep and a break of structure, right? Or actually, I guess honestly, I would consider any fair value gap. It doesn't necessarily have to be in discount, but yeah, better if it's in discount. And yeah, if you want, stick around to the end, because I'm not going to give you all the information until the end, but this gets way crazier. But yeah, let's go over actual trades that you can take. Oh, the other thing to note is, guys, this was insane. Where we came for the low of the day was two incredible confluences overlapped with each other at once. Check this out, right? This is going to blow your mind, okay? First, if I pull up our statistical mapping indicator, once again, statistically, on a bullish day, where do we manipulate and where do we distribute? On a bearish day, where do we manipulate and where do we distribute? So that's what this indicator tells you, is statistically, right, for the daily range, on average, where does the daily candle statistically manipulate to? Look at how spot on this was, guys. Genuinely insane. Bottom tick this, right? Daily statistical manipulation level hit to the T, right? Thought that was interesting. And the other thing that's crazy about this low here, right? There's two things. And I will get into trades. I will. We have a couple trades on Twitter as well, so it's not just gonna be me. But I just think this is so cool. So we got to talk about this first, right? So daily manipulation level, but that's not all, right? You guys remember that key level I told you about, where you remember this was a breaker, right? Because it's a move up before a violent move lower that sweeps liquidity. Measure this out from discount to premium here, right? Now, you can conceptually see how this is a fair value gap, right? From this low to this high, this is a gap, right? Gap. The fair value gap in discount of a breaker is called the Reaper fair value gap. So try this out on your chart, backtest this, right? The fair value gap in discount of a breaker from low to high is the Reaper fair value gap. If I drag this over, all the way over, let's keep it going. Check that out, man. Daily stat map level, manipulation level hit. So once again, that was the statistical daily manipulation level hit. And then Reaper fair value gap hit perfectly. So once again, this stat map indicator, it's not free. It does cost money, but I pay for it because I think it's cool as heck, and I want to. But looking for the Reaper gaps is free. You just literally just go look at the breaker and then find the fair value gap and discount. And once again, you want to look for this specific signature where it's a low, high, lower, low, higher, high. That's what makes it a breaker, when it's a low, high, lower, low, higher, high. The fair value gap in discount, that's the Reaper, obviously. And then if it was flipped upside down, it'd be the fair value gap in premium, right? If this was a bearish breaker, it'd be the fair value gap in premium. So anyway, look at that. Bang. Bottom ticked the bottom of this buy model, right? Genuinely insane. So we'll get into some trades, but also, yeah, you can clearly see how this is a buy model now, right? Sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve. Do you see it? Do you see how this is a giant, well, I should probably name it this. You're probably wondering, well, what was the key level, Jake? What was the key level that we pushed into, right? What key level did we push into? Well, there's a couple different ones. I gotta plug my laptop in. All right, I am back. Believe it or not, that actually took like 10 minutes because I had to go get the backup charger and I could not find my charger anywhere. But anyway, I got it. We're set. So let's keep talking about it. I honestly lost my train of thought, but let's just keep going. So the way I see it, right, the key level was this 1 hour gap. So we come down, fill the bottom of this gap into our daily stat map level, right? Into the Reaper for value gap. And then, so 1 hour for value gap, 5 minute change state of delivery, right? So that's kind of how I saw it. Now maybe it'd be better to use, actually, you know, I actually kind of like using this as a 1 hour breaker, right? 1 hour breaker kind of fits this a little better. Yeah, now that I mention it, I like marking this out as the 1 hour breaker. And then, where's the breaker anyway? And then 5 minute change state delivery off of this. And this actually makes a little bit more sense, right? And this, once again, I don't normally use breakers as my higher time frame key level, but this breaker is very obvious, right? Low, high, lower low that sweeps liquidity, higher high. So this low to high, this breaker, is extremely obvious to me. So I would actually want to use this for flow state. And you can actually see that I did, and we'll get into my trade in just a second. But once again, 1 hour breaker. So you see how perfect the market can be, right? 1 hour breaker. Perfectly to discount of the breaker, tapping into that Reaper for value gap there, and then daily stat map level here, and then we continue higher. Sell side of the curve, buy side of the curve. And here's our liquidity sweep, right? So I'm just going to get out some pictures because this is going to take too long to draw out. But yeah, this was very nice. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Let's see if I can find an image of it. I guess I didn't take an image, take a picture of it. That's okay. Anyway, accumulation, right? This entire range is a giant accumulation range. Then manipulation, and then distribution. So let's go over specific trades, because I know that's probably why you're here and you're like, why are you still talking about the specific stat map level and the Reaper for value gap? I just think it's cool though. So let's talk about specific trades you could have taken. Let's start out with the ones on Twitter. We have first, this was really nice, and this was in PM session, but this is the one where Dodgy was on the golf course and complaining about his life being so boring. But super nice liquidity sweep, 2 minute inversion, very straightforward here, where you just sweep out a low and then close out of. Only thing is, these kinds of trades you really just have to be on the chart for. You can see this happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you weren't on the charts, tough luck. But the reason this was good, let's pull up my version of this image. Where is it? 2 minute inversion. I know I took a picture of this one. Yeah, I was like, there's no way I didn't take a picture of this one. Okay, so let me show you my version of it, right? We, basically this is a BPR, right? Because overlapping bullish and bearish for value gaps. You can see we sweep liquidity into it. We get a inversion for value gap where we have an old for value gap and we close above it. And once again, as always, this is rocket fuel. We close higher, and then we accelerate up to that external candle body here. And once again, I always take profit at candle bodies. I never take profit at wicks. You can see if you took profit at the wick, I actually don't even think that would have hit. So always take profit at candle bodies. That's what I do personally, because you never know if you're not going to hit the wick, and you can see here that does not happen. So, but yeah, this is just accelerates us higher. I like this trade. This was also in the macro. So that's the first one I noticed on Twitter. This one from Hydra. So this isn't one that I necessarily noticed, but I want to cover other people's trades because I think it's important that we get a diverse perspective on the market. So you can see this was Hydra's trade. Nice accumulation, manipulation, distribution, going into lunch hour. Unless this was yesterday. No, this was today. So yeah, this was nice. I don't even remember seeing this, but nice. I like this because basically I think this is a fair value up on the higher time frame. I actually don't know what he's taken with this, but anyway, it's a nice trade. But let's talk about specific trades that you could have taken, and let's go a little bit deeper into it. So other trades that I noticed in specific that I really like, and this is where it's going to get good because my trades are always like the ones that I notice are always the craziest. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like when I notice them, it just you know, I notice ones that are very, very, like, sometimes almost perfect, it feels like this one, right? This was crazy. This was crazy. I'm not saying that like when I notice trades, they're like a lot of people, anyone can find a perfect trade. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I get most excited about talking about my trades. I don't know why. But once again, 5-minute BPR, accumulation, manipulation. What is this? Right? This is the move that takes liquidity. So, well, I mean, any one of these would have been a chain state delivery, but I like this as a chain state delivery. 30-second chain state delivery, 5-minute BPR. And if you measure this from low to the chain state delivery, we go right to the 4th standard deviation. Perfectly. This was picture perfect accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Genuinely insane. And so this is how I would take this trade. It's kind of a little bit chaotic, but this is how I would take it, right? Also, you can see here that we backtest OTE of this manipulation leg, the chain state delivery. So when we get the chain state delivery, from the chain state delivery to the low, before we even get the chain state delivery, we tap OTE there. That's a Jake Trades It original, right? That's something that I've noticed no one else talks about. We get that chain state delivery on the 32nd. And yeah, I would do 6 contracts to see how this is where a majority of the consolidation ends. So I do 2 off there. We had triple equal highs, so I do majority off there. And at that point, I'd be trailing, and I leave a runner for the 4th standard deviation. So that was genuinely a beautiful trade. And for to show you where that was on the chart here. So this was interesting because I marked it as a BPR in an unusual way, but it still counts as a BPR because even though this isn't a fair value gap, it's a fair value gap in essence because it did exactly what a fair value gap would do. It did the sell side and then it did the buy side. So this is a 5-minute BPR here, right? 5-minute BPR. So do I care that this isn't literally a fair value gap? No, because it delivered sell side and buy side. So this is a balanced price range. So 5-minute BPR. And then you can see this is exactly where the trade happened, right? You see, I was not making this up. 5-minute BPR, we go perfectly down into it. Change of state of delivery occurs, well, there's 2 different ones. One right here, one right here. Bang. 30-second change of state of delivery retest. You can see we hit that right there. As well, you'll note that this is a 2022 model. If you measure this out from discount to premium to discount, you can see this fair value gap in discount is very, very nice 2022 gap. I mean, imagine I think I recorded this one down. Let's see. Yeah. So this is this is what you'll notice a lot of the time is flow state and 2022. Well, there'll be the same trade because they're both the same. Their flow state and 2022 model is the same exact thing. They're both market maker models, right? You're trading a market maker model. That's really all you're doing, right? You're trading from, you're taking the liquidity from this liquidity pool and moving it to an opposing liquidity pool, right? That's really what you're doing. You're redistributing liquidity. I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah, for the real ones watching this, every time I say something, it probably just makes the video more interesting in the long run. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep talking. So, liquidity sweep, break of structure, 2022 for value gap, and then we go expand to that fourth standard deviation. Let's see here. Man, it just keeps getting more interesting. We have let's look at another one. We have a very, very similar trade to this that was almost the same thing, where we had almost the same thing, where another 5-minute BPR later on in the day, and what happens again? We get a 30-second change state delivery. This time, I would enter on the close. And this is that same trade that Dodgy took, but just from a lower entry point. 5-minute BPR, liquidity sweep, 30-second change state delivery during the macro. And I go TP1 here, TP2 here, TP3 here, and then trail. So that's how I would take this. Take a picture of that if you want. Let's see here. Yeah, man, I just want to show you guys this again because this is genuinely insane. Statistical mapping mapped out the daily manipulation level right to the low. I guess next let's go over the trade that I took. Hopefully this video isn't going to be too long, but we'll see. So this was my execution, right? And I meant to take more off here, but I kind of messed up. But it is what it is. So the trade was... Where did I save the actual trade? It's in the Discord. I'm gonna get it out real quick. I'm not... This video is already super long, so it is what it is. I'm gonna pull up this trade from the Discord. It's just gonna take a second. And then... Yep, once again. So here's the trade. So this is how I took it. I took this live, right? We had a 15-minute breaker and then 1-minute change state delivery, and it really was that simple, right? Once we came down and retested that 1-minute change state delivery, I entered right there, stop loss at the low, and then we expand higher. I didn't realize that I had 6. I thought I had 4. So that's what I mean when I say I messed up. I would have taken 3 off here and probably another 3 off there. So anyway, I messed that up, but it is what it is. Or maybe like 3, 2, and 1 or something like that. Because this was like a 3R trade, which is really, really cool. Kind of surprised we didn't hit the 4th standard deviation, but I guess we just kind of lost momentum. So, but yeah, just to show you what breaker I'm talking about so you guys can take a similar trade if you wanted to, right? And then also let's go over the other trade that Hyper took. So this is that same trade we just went over, right? This is the 2022 model that we just talked about, right? Where we have a liquidity sweep, break of structure, fair value gap within discount, right? High probability gap. And then he pyramids more out this next gap. And then he scales all out through here. Executed beautifully. I mean, genuinely beautiful execution by Hyper, dude. Look at this. Once again, liquidity sweep. We sweep out this low. Break of this high. Sweep. Break of this high. Retracement to a fair value gap. within discount of the displacement, and then entry, entry, and then he scaled out. Personally, I see nothing wrong with scaling out a bazillion times. I mean, you're avoiding having to deal with the risk of if it doesn't hit. So I think that was smart. So once again, here's the same exact trade Hyper took. So very cool. And he actually taught me something here too. It's like you can pyramid, right? So we had a liquidity sweep, break of structure, 2022 fair value gap here. And then so this one's in discount. This is what I mean when I say they don't always have to be in discount. Like this one's not really in discount, but this is still a nice fair value gap to pyramid off of. So then here's another one, and you can see that we just go entry, entry, and then you can put, you can see how nice this is, right? You get very nice RR on these 2022 models. Very nice RR. That's like 5R. Wow. So anyway, and then let's see. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but I know it's probably going to end up being long. Oh, the 15-minute breaker that I took my trade off of, so you guys can know what I was looking at, right? 15-minute breaker. I'd rather have this be too long than not cover everything, so you know what? It is what it is. 15-minute breaker was, look at this, right? Series of up-close candles right before the violent drop lower. That takes liquidity. So I love, love, love the series of up-close candles here. Just because look at how big of a drop this is to go take liquidity. This is going to be a very sensitive breaker because this breaker was right before this violent drop that took liquidity. So I'm marking this out right here. That was my key level. This was my key level for my model, this 15-minute breaker here. I don't normally use breakers as my key level for flow state, but this one, I like this breaker right here because this is very obvious. This is a very obvious move lower, so I like this breaker. It's going to be very sensitive. So you can see if I drag this over, I'm exactly right, right? I didn't even know for sure if this was going to be sensitive, but I had conviction that it should be because of that violent drop lower that takes liquidity. This should be a sensitive breaker. And on the lower time frame, so once again, 15-minute breaker. And then what did I look for? I looked for 1 minute change state of delivery off of it, right? That occurred here. So 1 minute CISD. Now, technically the original entry is right there. Personally, I don't like this one as much because the AMD is not obvious yet. But once we have this accumulation range here, at this point it becomes obvious that this is the accumulation manipulation below the accumulation range. So once again, accumulation, manipulation. I have a video coming out about this later. I can't speak right now. There's a video coming out later today about this, right? Where when you have a change state of delivery right below old lows in the market, that's going to be an incredibly nice change state of delivery to turtle soup at, right? And you can see that's exactly what happened. So I turtle soup this low here. So inducement, meaning turtle soup, same thing. Inducement. We hit that change state of delivery. And so this is my entry. You can also see if you measure out this manipulation leg, right? We actually hit OTE of this, and this red down close candle perfectly hits the midpoint of OTE. Perfectly. Crazy stuff. So from that, sometimes you got to measure other change state deliveries just to kind of, possibly see where, like sometimes it just you gotta experiment around with it. But then, yeah, 1 minute change state delivery, and then you saw how I took this. I just scaled out. So yeah, that was what I did. And also look at this volume balance, right? Look at how this volume balance Look how sensitive it is here. Honestly, I don't even care that it's taking a long time. I learn stuff when I make these too, and so I'm okay with having it be longer because if it's helping me, then that makes a big difference, right? Look at this volume and balance. See how that was the low? Treat these as like lower time frame new day opening gaps because that's literally what they are, right? These are literally lower time frame new day opening gaps. You see how perfect we respond off of that volume balance? Crazy. So anyway, pay attention to volume balances. They're powerful stuff. Then I think we're almost done. Okay, if you made it to the end, oh man, there's some trades in London session I want to look at, but the video's too long. If you made it to the end, you get to hear the extra good stuff. So, all right, if you made it to the end, right, this was crazy, right? I'm gonna pull it up. Here we go. That's not it. Did I even screenshot it? Oh, here it is. Here we go. Check this out. Remember the same buy model from earlier, right? I told you that this was a market maker buy model. Well, guess what? The market maker model formed within our dealing range we were anticipating it to form in. Once again, the liquidity sweep forms going into the low of the dealing range. We break structure, right? Measuring this out, high to low. We have a fair value gap here. This was perfectly in the fair value gap zone of our dealing range, right? If you guys don't know what this is literally Enigma. I have a video. I explain it in a different video. Go watch the one where I talk about Enigma. But basically, it tells you where the 2022 model is going to form. So liquidity sweep, break of structure, fair value gap in discount. This is where the fair value gap should form. And look at how precisely we react off of this fair value gap zone here. That's incredible precision right there. That is genuinely incredible precision. And then straight to the high of the dealing range, aligned with these low resistance highs. Genuinely beautiful. And if you don't believe me that happened, well, let's go over and look at the chart here, right? On the 1 minute chart, pulling up the dealing range 81. Check this out. -1. So where are we looking for our fair value gap within the model to form, right? Sweep, break of structure. We're looking for a fair value gap within this zone. Fair value gap. That's what that means. FV means fair value gap. That's where we're looking for our 2022 gap to form, right? And actually, it's not just a fair value gap, but it's a little tiny volume imbalance. Actually, we don't quite hit it. But anyway, this is the fair value gap zone, right? And look at that. Look how precise that is. Look at how precise that is. Fair value gap hit within the fair value gap zone. And then we go up and up and up to the high and then the extension of the dealing range. Crazy. So anyway, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Still trying to understand this more, but yeah, hopefully this video wasn't too long. And like as always, I'm just gonna keep trying to get better with you guys. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.